talk me through, when did you start to realize that, okay, golf is getting a lot more serious and I'm actually going to have a chance to play at the next level, at the collegiate level?
Okay, so mine was kind of like, that day when I go back and I get the pointers from that coach, my brother's coach at that time, I was hooked immediately after that. And I think maybe about after a year of actually seriously trying to get better, I already knew. I was like, I'm going to play professional golf.
Got it.
This is what I want to do. It's a lot of work, but I know this is what I want to do. So it was kind of like an immediate... I mean, you might be thinking, how can a kid at 13, already make that decision and be committed to it? But I mean, that's kind of how it was for me. Yeah.
Yeah. And that probably just honed in your vision to actually focus on what you're doing.
Yes.
So what a lot of people don't hear, or even you might not share with other people that don't know your journey, right? Talk us through, like, even intermediate and high school. What was your practice schedule like? What kind of sacrifices did you have to make?
Right.
How hard did you have to work to actually pursue golf, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I already, was a couple steps behind everybody because I started at 12. And a lot of golfers start between, again, like 6 to 8 years old. And at that time, we had a lot of competitive golfers here in the islands, and they were really good. They were top amateur golfers, and, they got even better as they got into college. But so I kind of went out and I was like the newbie. Okay. And I'm like, all right, let me... They're kind of just, they would kind of just look at me like, what are you doing here? Like, you kind of suck, but everybody sucks when they start. So basically it would be like, I'd wake up early in the morning. I'd do like a light workout. Okay. Then I'd go to school. You don't finish school until maybe like 2 or 3 o'clock. From there, you go straight to practice until sunset. And then I'd have a workout after that again. And then you go home, you eat dinner. By the time you shower and do your homework, it's already 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And then, by the time you're exhausted, it's like 11 o'clock and you just fall asleep and you just repeat that schedule every single day. And so when I started golf, I actually ended up going to a golf academy here. Okay. It was out at Ko'olau Golf Course. Okay. And so what you do is you sign basically a contract, and it's more of a contract just to, I guess, make you understand that they want to make you understand the commitment and the sacrifice that will be needed in order to attend this golf school. And so it was one for serious players. So, I mean, I signed it easily. I was like, all right, let's do this. Yeah. And it was basically 6 days a week. Okay. I would take Sundays off, but I would still, do something. So it wasn't really an off day, but I just remember having to work twice as hard just to catch up to everybody. That's not even to surpass them, but just to catch up. I guess because I was so passionate and I enjoyed it, it really didn't feel like too much of work. I was just, excited to be out there and just have the opportunity to do that.
Yes.
But yeah.
So this schedule, are you talking about in intermediate school or more in high school?
When I started.
Just right when you started then?
Yeah,
and
right when I started.
And then this carried out all the way through your high school career? Did you stay at that golf academy? Yes,
I did. So I stayed with that coach from 12 until 20, which was my sophomore year in college. Okay. And basically, so what I did in high school is I was sitting in math class one day and I was staring out the window and I was like, man, I could be on the golf course right now. Like I was thinking about all the things I had left to work on and how I could get better. And then a light bulb kind of popped on and it was like, wait a second, you could be at the golf course. And like I was telling you before, my coach used to joke around with me and say like, you could always go homeschool and whatever. So what I actually did is I went to the counselor and the board of directors and I kind of, wrote a letter and kind of talked to them about the situation, and they understood, and they've had the situation happen before with previous athletes. Some people wanted to go into soccer, some people wanted to go in this. And so it's something that they've seen before. So basically what they did is they wrote up a contract and I had a couple options. And the option that I did choose was to take off, the last year and a half of high school, which is kind of a big deal because first of all, it's not easy to get into Kamehameha. And I still wanted to get a diploma from there, right? So basically take the last year and a half off, but I would forego, prom, walking, commencement, song contest, which again is also a big deal. But that's the option that I chose. And that allowed me to basically, I was at the course from 7 to 7 or 10 to 7 and, training included in that.
Got it.
So, for me, it was just, especially when you start out with golf, a lot of it is time. You need to get the reps in, you need to get the muscle memory in, and that's just, to set your foundation. when you get better, okay, now you can practice a little bit less, but you practice more efficiently and smarter and more detailed. But in the beginning, that's kind of what I needed to do in order to get the reps in.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's so many things that we can elaborate on there. I mean, even I think the key things that I want to emphasize here is that I like how you said that you had to put in all this work just to catch up.
Right.
Right. And that's what you perceived, right?
Yes.
But that's the fact, is that what everyone sees, like all the success that people get, they weren't like that when they started. It doesn't just happen overnight. Like, yeah, you might have some physical gifts and more natural, you know, pick up things faster, but you still have to put in the work, right?
Yes.
So I think that's where a lot of people might want to kind of skip all of that work, right? And they only want the result, but they're not willing to do all of the things in the beginning. And I'm glad that you realize that I have to put in all this work just to, you know, kind of get up where I would have been maybe if I started earlier, right? And I like how you mentioned that, you know, everyone, especially when it comes to golf, everyone's going to suck in the beginning. Like, I don't care who you are, even if you're meant to be the number one golfer in the world, you probably sucked in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So that's something to encourage people to kind of push through that. And you got to just put in the work to actually get better and improve.
Right.